first before we get into this producer countdown, because this producer countdown, this is going to be fun. Godson celebrates 21 years today. And speaking of albums that some people think are classic and some people don't, do you feel like Godson is a classic, like many of our followers do? Nas is Godson, by the way.
No, it's not a classic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great piece of work. It's part of arguably like his second win run. You know what I mean? If you look at it. But it's not a classic because when I said I made a list, I put it on Twitter today. Or what is it called now? It's just called X now? Is it not Twitter anymore?
I'm going to still call it Twitter.
Okay. Mama named Clay. Clay. I'm Clay. Yeah. Right. So I was on Twitter X today, and I literally just like with ease named 8 albums that he made better than Godson, and that would make that his 9th or his 10th best album, and he is the greatest MC of all time. But calling Godson a classic would pretty much be saying this man has about 9 or 10 classics, and that's not true.
Yeah. You know, I remember when Godson came out, I love Made You Look. I still think it's probably his strongest first single, in my personal opinion.
It ain't hard to tell.
Yeah, I'm with that
conversation.
Too. Yeah, but Made You Look's different.
Made You Look is different.
I guess maybe it's the time,
how about this? How about
and what
this?
was going on at the time, too.
When you did that whole Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See, and I was like, I'm not sure if that's top 50. Songs like Made You Look is why.
What Made You Look's top 50 to me.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
I would actually put Made You Look in the top 50 over It Ain't Hard to Tell. That's how much.
I don't think you can do that because
strong
of how
I think Made You Look is.
It Ain't Hard to Tell is just one of those things when it drops, like the hip hop head and people just goes, and it makes them smile. So it's like,
I mean, listen, man, it's a human nature sample. Come on, man, you already know where I'm at with
like
it.
Like he would have 2 or 3 top 50 singles. It would be The World Is Yours, It Ain't Hard to Tell, and Made You Look. And Made You Look is arguably the best thing he's released as a first single, but the album's not a classic. But it has some of his best stuff on there. Like, how about this? Here's how I feel about it. Like, did you see my list on Twitter? I'll give you my list.
No, I didn't see the list on Twitter. Hold on. Andrew Williams with the super chat says, he says, if 444 is a classic to Jay-Z fans, then I'm calling Godson a classic.
Okay, 444 is not any good, though. So nobody cares what's not any good.
I mean, the truth is, and I don't want to get into this whole diatribe, I think that 444 is, people want that album to be better than it is because you're probably not going to get another Jay-Z album.
It's not any good. Album sucks.
Yeah, we don't want to remember the fact that, you know, and we saw this when we were going through the best verses on each Jay-Z album. After American Gangster, there's a dip, man. Like when you get to Blueprint 3.
It's a dive, not a dip.
Yeah, you get to Blueprint 3, you get to Holy Grail, you get to 444. It's like,
holy moly.
Yeah, man. I mean, and I guess people want to give some redeeming value to the brand and make 444 seem better than it is, but we
that
can't. That
album is not any good.
It's not. I mean, you know,
it's not
speaking
any good.
Of which, No ID didn't make my top 25.
He didn't make mine either.
Because, you know, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just being real here. I've never heard somebody play a song that No ID produced and be like, yo, who made that beat? Have you?
I mean, he wasn't even part of my editing process when I edited it down to 25, and I didn't include groups, like production groups. And so,
I did. Well,
so if I was doing a top 50 list, he might make the top 50 list, but he would literally be somewhere between 45 to 50 on the list.
What's the best beat he made?
I believe I always liked Invocation on One Day It'll All Make Sense. I think that's No ID. I think he did Hungry too.
He did Hungry, I think.
Yeah. I would pick Hungry or Invocation off One Day It'll All Make Sense.
I'm gonna go DOA, but I think that, you know,
I don't love that beat.
Kanye might be involved in that.
Kanye's not involved with that beat, man. But here's what I got. Here's what I realized.
What about Thank You? I think he did that.
I like Thank You.
That beat was dope.
Thank You is dope.
Yeah.
Illmatic. It was written.
Okay.
Stillmatic. Now people were getting on me saying like, Coop, you said that Lost Tapes is better than Stillmatic. Personally. But let's just point out
Stillmatic's the better album.
Here's the thing with Stillmatic. On the Lost Tapes, is there a story on there? Because Blaze of 50, Papa Was a Player, and Drunk by Myself is on the Lost Tapes. Mm-hmm. So 3 great stories. Is any of those stories better than Rewind?
No.
Is there a mic performance on the Lost Tapes like What Goes Around?
No, I don't think so.
Ether, Mike. Ether is an adjective. Like what happened to the New Orleans Pelicans when they played the Lakers? They got ethered. Ether is an adjective, Mike. And plus, Stillmatic has the Stillmatic intro, which gives it more of an album feel. And so that was my rationale.
And it has records like what's it called?
You're
One
the
Mic.
Man, One Mic, The Flyest with AZ, Destroy and Rebuild.
I just feel like when you have to make big records, it's different than, you making a bunch of core records for your core fan base. And I would have to give Stillmatic the nod because it just had to do more.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about KD3 too, to be perfectly honest. It's like it had to do more.
So much like I prefer the Lost Tapes and prefer Magic 3, objectively, first of all, my reason for putting Magic 3 behind KD3 on this list that I'm about to list off has more to do with, Magic 3 hasn't had time to sit. And I told you, Magic 3 is going to have some It Was Written type of qualities to it where people really aren't going to appreciate it until a few years after that it's actually like sat on you totally. But Illmatic, It Was Written, Lost Tapes, KD3.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the top 5. I'm going to go Life is Good at 6, Magic 3 at 7, Magic at 8, and then I'm giving Godson the slight edge over KD2.
You put Magic at 8?
I did.
I'm surprised you got Life is Good over Magic.
Because here's the thing about it, and this is what I mean about doing an objective list. How long has Life is Good been out?
10 years now.
It's holding up remarkably well. How long has Magic and Magic 3 been out?
Yeah, it hasn't been as long.
We can't be so quick to jump. Let's see how Magic 3 and Magic hold up. KD3 has a lot of Stillmatic-like qualities to it. Big stage, big performance. Solo Mission.
Mm-hmm. That's the other really special thing about KD3 mission as well. It's 17-track solo mission.
On your 49th year on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I see people in the chat saying that Magic 3 is better than KD3, but that's a good problem to have.
I personally feel that way.
You've said this.
But what I'm saying is that Magic 3 and Magic haven't been out long enough. The staying power on Life is Good is real, Mike. You can listen to Cherry Wine and stay today.
I love Cherry Wine.
You can listen to Locomotive today. Has somebody that now has a daughter who is 16 years old, like his daughter was when he made this song, oh, the way that record is staying with me, it's like, no. My daughter was like a baby when that record came out, and I felt it. Themes. Now, timeless theme. So Life is Good is holding up extremely well. I don't think that it's better song for song than KD3 right now as it stands because big moment, big stage, solo mission he performed. Magic 3 and Magic are probably going to move up on this list over time. Time. You have to give stuff time and make sure that it holds. We talk a lot. We're going to have this during the producer conversation. I had to realize that some people who I love, it's like, well, how that shit holding up?
Exactly. I had to have that realization too.
How's it holding up?
Yeah.
And after that,
Timberland was one of the people I had to have that
absolutely.
realization with.
And so after Magic, I'm going Godson. Because here's why I got Godson over KD2. KD2 is actually in the end a better album than Godson. But Get Down, Made You Look. And as Sean from Hip Hop Talks pointed out this morning, Last Real Nigga Alive. Oh, those 3 albums?
To me.
Those are 10s.
3 songs. Yeah.
Those are 3 10s.
To me, Last Real Nigga Alive is my favorite song in that whole back and forth.
Really?
It is.
I forgot how cold the record was. I played it this morning, and I was like, yeah. And
it's him doing what he does best, telling stories. So it's like, what's not to love about that? And then when he ends it with the gift and the curse, fuck that shit. The first will be last. I'm a man's man. A rapper's rapper. G-O-D-S-O-N and be none after.
I was Scarface.
Jay was Manolo. It hurt when I had to kill him and his whole squad for Dolo. It's like, damn, man.
It hurts because it's true, too.
Because it's like, and it's nothing you can do about it. you can send the state property guys at me. You can send whatever.
You can't fade me. And here's the thing about Last Real Nigga Alive. I forgot how cold that hook is.
Yeah,
he's a great hook writer, Mike.
He is.
He's just nice. He just sliced like a Ginsu. Look at the life that I've been. Yeah, he's
a great writer on all levels.
And so
Black Wealth and Power with the super chat says, "What's the difference between a classic album and a great album to you two? Can you define the two?" Huh?
No. Okay. So
go ahead.
Here's the thing. Like, is there a whack song on Godson?
I'm not a big fan of Book of Rhymes and stuff like that.
I love Book of Rhymes by Alchemist.
And I really don't love the Eminem produced record. I really don't love Alicia Keys on this.
Warrior Song?
Yeah.
You just don't like Alicia Keys. Warrior Song's straight. Here's what I mean. Like, Godson doesn't have necessarily any records where you're like, man, that song's trash. But it's not like...
I Can is on there too, right?
Yeah. Forgot about I Can.
It's a big record. I know you hate it.
I don't hate I Can.
You don't? David Buster's used to play that shit all the time when we worked there.
I can't stand I Can. Yeah. Like, I don't like I Can.
And the last verse was cool.
I get it. The last verse is what saves it for me.
It was very You Must Learn.
You know what I hated about it? I hate how 50 like approached it when they was having their issue. Now Nas love the kids. 50 on that killer shit.
I love how 50 just uses anything against anybody.
No. That shit was funny when he did that. I was like, I don't like that he did that. That's why I really don't like the record. I don't like how 50 turned it around on him. Like, it's like
that was a big record for Nas. I would imagine that's one of his bigger records.
It is one of his biggest records. Yeah. It is. That was one of his records that got played all the time on radio and on TV. And so it's a big moment for him. And Godson is great because it's a collection of good songs with some really, really classic shit on there. And that's usually what a great album is. And that's why I brought up Get Down, Last Real Nigga Alive, and Made You Look. Because you can have a great album that be full of good songs, and the album's just good. And it's those classic songs that take it over the top and make it great. And so it's a collection of good songs. Like Book of Rhymes is dope.
Well, I would say, do you think great and classic are the same thing? Because I don't.
No.
I think that
you can. Great.
I think that what happens is the impact is what makes that difference to me. Where it's like a classic album, it has all of those great things, but also has the impact to boot. Whereas you could have a great album that kind of fell on deaf ear. And not to anybody's fault, but just because it didn't have those game-changing records. You know what I mean?
Heaven is the shit. The way the album is Heaven.
Dope.
What do you say? Making hits is easy. Put a famous bitch on the hook. There you go with a platinum CD. I know you heard the noise. Preachers touching on little boys, sodomizing, not realizing God is watching before the Lord.
Yeah.
He's in his bag on that album, so it's got what a great album has. It's got some classic moments. It's got some great moments. It's got some good moments. It's a great album. I personally think that Hey Nas is probably the weakest song on there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
think so too.
When that's the weakest song, Revolutionary Warfare was the shit with Lake. It's like, no, he's got some shit on there.
I like where he was mentally on that album.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Just the approach of it. And again, that's probably where the whole Made You Look thing comes from with me. Because I remember what was going on with him at the time. He was just kind of like, you know, it was Nas against the world at that point. And then to have a record start off with a gunshot and then, you know what I'm saying, that Apache loop.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy. And then the video on top of that.
It's the hook, Mike.
It's crazy,
you a slave
man.
to a page in my rhyme book. When I heard that, I was like,
let's get it all in perspective.
It's not even like, it's not even one of his best mic performances lyrically, but there's something about him on that record where it's just like he's there.
Feel.
It's the feel.
It's the intangibles.
You want to
know
what?
Man. It's soul. The things we can't describe.
He feels like you feel like he's the king on that record. Like it's like no. That's the guy. Like right now.
Yeah.
That's how that record feels.
To me, not a lot of people have songs better than Made You Look. I mean, when Irv Gotti got on, I think it was Drink Champs, one of them podcasts, and Irv says a lot of things. Irv knows his shit. That's one thing I'll always respect about Irv. But when he said Made You Look, it was like either Nas' best song or one of the best songs ever. I understand where he's coming from because I feel the same way.
It feels that way.
That shit's insane, man.
Yeah. No, it's like
And it made me feel like him and Salaam Remi for a moment really, really had something. And I wanted to hear more of that. And I think they did have something.
They did have something.
But Made You Look made it feel like it was more than what it even was. You know what I mean?
Made You Look is the pinnacle of what they had.
Oh, yeah.
But Get Down, which is the James Brown sample, Get Down.
Oh, yeah, I love Get Down.
That's one of his better stories, too.
Mm-hmm.
New York streets where killers will walk like Pistol Pete and Pappy Mason gave the young boys admiration.
What James Brown song was that? Was that, shit. It was from the Black Caesar soundtrack. I think it was the New York City record. Dot with the super chat says, y'all may need to re-listen to Godson tonight.
No,
sure.
There ain't no change in that beat on the cross by Eminem. There's not no change in Hey Nas. The Warrior song could have been better.
Is Eminem on your producer list? He produced a lot in that.
See
era.
what I go through?
He produced a lot of his stuff too.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He also produced Lose Yourself. He produced Renegade.
I'm not going to acknowledge you while you do this.
The Cross.
I'm going to read the chat. Let me know when you're
Moment of Clarity.
It's ridiculous.
He also produced I'm on Fire for Lloyd Banks. Actually, I think Kwame did something on there too, actually. Yeah. Anyway. Godson.
They think that
21 years.
They think that we're underrating Godson. What is Godson better than? Like, y'all think Godson's better than Life is Good? That's that Made You Look factor.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking about a few records that are better. First of all, he's like Made You Look has something beat on like all his albums except for the first two. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's just the fact of the matter. But if you look, you got to start, and we're going to talk about this when we have the producer conversation. Stop looking at classic songs on great albums and start looking at the body of work. Life is Good as a body of work. It's better end to end. It just is. He's more consistent.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I wasn't a big fan of Godson. I wasn't a big fan of Street Disciple when they both came out.
Well, here's the thing about it. You want to talk about impact, and here's why I do have Life is Good as high as I do. Life is Good and Blueprint 3 taught grown ass niggas how to rap about grown up shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the first time that I had heard rappers at the stage they were at their perspective time talk about grown men issues. Yeah. Like, they weren't talking about like street shit or hood shit anymore, or being in the projects. Shit, right. They were talking about the things that grown ass men in reality go through, like the Bye Bye Baby with Aaron Hall. Like, even the album cover lets you know it's a grown man's rap album.
You're right.
It's like he's got his ex-wife's wedding dress on the album cover. Yeah. It's like, when he starts off with no introductions, like, and me who wasn't the most faithful husband, it's like, no, this is shit that rappers weren't saying then. Yeah. Now everybody's sharing their fucking grown ass feelings now.
You're right. Magic with the super chat says KD and Magic trilogies remind me of Stillmatic and Godson Nas.
I agree.
If we're gonna throw Godson into the KD trilogy,
it's better than KD1 and KD2. It's not better than KD3. It's not. And people have to understand this. And I didn't learn this until I really interviewed Hit and until I talked to Taj. He has a fan base that starts at Stillmatic and runs up to Life is Good.
Mm-hmm.
We're Illmatic, It Was Written fans. And so our lens is different. And so when we hear Last Real Nigga Alive and Get Down and Made You Look, that reminds us our Illmatic, It Was Written. That reminds us of Nasty Nas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a whole section of fans of his that don't feel that way.
Right.
They're Stillmatic fans. You get what I'm saying?
As they should be, you know what I mean? Because it's a different era. It's a different phase.
Right. And so you have to understand that he has a legion of fans that go from Stillmatic to Life is Good. And Life is Good for them is the pinnacle of that moment in time, bookend with Stillmatic on one side and Life is Good on the other. Over that 10-year stretch. We look at it totally because of our age, like, Illmatic, It Was Written, these right here.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know how to come up off that, and Godson makes us nostalgic of that.
You're right.
But it ain't like that in the end.
Yo, Lenny was just hitting me up on the phone, man.
Production-wise, Godson does suffer from some missteps.
It does, and I always felt like that. Lennox just hit me on the phone, man. We gotta plug High Gravity Hip Hop in the goodie bag. I know you didn't bring the goodie bag, but you got the goods for the goodie bag, and let people know what it is.
Yeah, the goodie bag. First of all, I love the fact that when you actually see the post on social media, it's goodie bag playing from Soul Food. $400 bag, little Christmas invite. Gip is actually hand delivering the bags. It has his South is Spoken pills in there, a 4-pack of that. It has strawberry CBD gummies, has a little blueberry scissor, has some Zaga tequila, which is CBD infused and based.
I think I'm gonna take the blueberry gummies tonight.
And it's actually, and I keep telling people this because I'm always doing something, so I'm always carrying stuff. Like my backpack is right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a backpack. It's a cooler backpack. Like you can literally carry it around as a backpack. It has a zipper pouch in the front, 2 pouches on the side, but it's a cooler inside. It's like perfect for your ATL shenanigans. Yeah, it's a good Christmas gift. It's good stocking stuffer. Like, I personally, when Lennox hit me with the bag, like, I didn't even put it on social media. I sent it, like, individually to, like, people that I knew may want to grab a bag.
Yeah, and you can go get it at highgrab.com. You can actually go to our community section here on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? We got the link right there. Yeah. And it's on all our social media platforms as well.
Lennox was talking about putting a little mixtape together, too, for some local artists. And I'm going to help him.
Lennox got to get on the show and come holler at the people and, you know what I'm saying, give them a breakdown of the great things that, you know, they got going on. And, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to everything that's coming up in 2024, you know, with the brand and continuously furthering the education with the brewery and Black-owned brewers.
Yeah, well, he's doing a building fund, too. Because he wants to get a brick and mortar for high gravity hip hop. And so we're going to assist in that process and that journey as well.
For sure. Andrew Williams of the Super Chat says KD2 is better from end to end than Godson. I'd probably rather listen to KD2, but see, the tiebreaker there is going to be Made You Look and Last Real Nigga Alive.
And Get Down. That's what I mean. Like, because here's the thing. First of all, there's nothing on KD2 fucking with Made You Look. There's not. Store running, Nobody, probably the best records. I don't think that's trumping Made You Look and Last Real Nigga Alive.
No.
And what you do when it's close, you do go with the classic shit.
You gotta go with the heavyweights.
Yeah, like Made You Look is some Thriller in Manila type of record. Like, nigga, that ain't no regular fight.
That's a haymaker.
That's a haymaker of a fight.
It's nothing on KD2 touching that.
Niggas is risking their life about Made You Look when it come on. You feel what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah.
Andrew Williams with the Super Chat says, when y'all doing the Pac versus Biggie? I backed out Friday.
As soon as Mike stopped ducking me, I'm glad Mike said it. We were supposed to do it last Friday.
We were.
Mike
backed out.
Mike was like, I have some obligations I have to take care of. I was like, man, sick of this guy ducking me, man.
I got to do it though, man. It's got to get done. I got my list though. I was ready to do it. Just, you know,
sure you
family-ish, you know. Ill Magic with the Super Chat says, facts, Coop. For us young millennials, our childhood and teen years was Nas started with Stillmatic and Godson.
Yeah.
And it's funny, man, because I kind of correlate damn near everything to Michael Jackson, but you know, when you think about the first Michael Jackson that, you know, we actually were, you know, basically
that second Mike
seeing was Bad.
That's Mike number 2.
Exactly. Like, so our parents were like, well, obviously our parents were probably on the Jackson 5 stuff, but they actually grew up or was dancing and going to the club with Off the Wall.
See, here's
we grew up on Bad.
See, here's how niggas need to look at it. It's like, if you're a Nas fan that's our age, you are off the wall nigga.
Exactly.
That's exactly off the wall nigga. You don't know.
That's exactly what it is.
Right. And so we be on that off the wall shit that Mike's fans is on. Is like, I don't know about this Thriller, this Bad thing. Where's the nigga that made Rock With You?
Exactly. Because when Bad came out, I'm sure that the people who were off the wall niggas is like,
man, what is this? right.
But we're like, yo, this dude is great.
This is great. It's
exactly.
like Man in the Mirror, Dirty Diana.
That's exactly what this is.
Right. And that's exactly what this is. But much like, you know, with Nas, it's like, no, people have to understand that because his career has spanned generations, he has fans that aren't addicted to Illmatic and it was written like we are.
They didn't come up on it.
They didn't come up on it.
They had to go back and listen to it.
They came up in a different time. I didn't realize until I talked to Hit. I was like, oh shit. He's listening to us because he's younger than us. He didn't come up like, you know what it meant to like have a copy of Illmatic? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we was a kid, it's like, niggas would be talking about it. It's like, yeah, I broke my tape already. It's like, I got to go buy another copy of it.
It's different when you were there as opposed to having to go back to it. Because like you said, I mean, to correlate it back to Michael again, like, I love Off the Wall. I went back for it, but the feeling of Bad and knowing what it was like for me when I heard it for the first time and that whole rollout.
The Smooth Criminal video, the rollout for Bad. Right.
So it sticks with you, even though I know that Off the Wall is a better album, I actually have bad memories.
Right.
Where I don't have memories from Off the Wall. Whereas somebody who's a Nas listener from the Stillmatic, Godson era, they don't have Illmatic memories.
Right. They have Stillmatic, Godson, Lost Tape memories.
Yeah.
Those are great fucking memories to have.
They are. Dame with the Super Chat says Godson versus Forest Hill Drive.
Godson.
Godson to me.
Tiebreaker is the Haymakers.
Yeah.
Made You Look. There's not anything close to
I'm going to be honest, man. I'm not as big on Forest Hills Drive as everybody else.
It's a solo mission, Mike.
It is a solo mission.
It's a solo mission. It's in the end.
I feel like we give the album points because of who made it.
It's in the end production and MCing by him, though. In the end, it is pretty special in that regard.
Is Michael album of the year?
Who?
Michael, the album.
Killer Mike?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask.
Okay. Glad you asked.
Ready to do this top 25 producers?
Yeah.
I mean, because everybody in the mainstream is saying it is.
Look here. It's officially to the point that when Charlemagne says something album of the year, I know that's some bullshit.
Oh, no. When all the mainstream people get on code to say the same album as album of the year, it's like, I don't know, guys. I don't know.
It's not.
When's the last time the mainstream got it right?
I'm still waiting.
I'm trying to think. It's been a minute.
I'm still waiting.
It's been a minute.
No, I'm still waiting.
Trying to think, man. When's the last time the mainstream really rallied behind a great hip-hop album that deserved to get that adulation? Because I don't even feel like they did that with Daytona.
Oh, my God. You're going to have to go back to, like, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy days.
Well, there it is, yeah.
Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay.
Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay.
That's the last one.
That is the last time.
That is the last time ever. No, but...
You're right.
The album was worth that, though. Like, it deserved all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want me to go with my list first?
Have at it.
All right. Well, basically, I put my list together based on album making ability was high for me, right? Because like we said earlier in the show, not every great hip-hop producer has actually exceeded in that feat to actually make a great or produce a great album from end to end. Very few.
So Dr. Dre's number one then?
He's not. But he's top 3. He's not. I love Dre.
No, I'm about to tear your argument apart.
I love
Go
Dre.
ahead. No.
Oh, I'm about to tear y'all argument apart too.
No,
you don't
have an argument.
I have reasons why Dr. Dre's not number one. I've been listening to Suge Knight's podcast a lot. I have a lot of reasons why Dr. Dre's not number one.
First of all, never mind. I'm not even going there. We just gonna wait. Like Mike,
I know y'all listening to Suge's podcast out there too.
If anybody has an axe to grind with Dr. Dre, Mike, who would that be? Just so we clear.
I mean, it's,
Okay.
Suge did a lot. Dari Star
Suge didn't make no damn beats, Mike.
Suge cleared the samples. Suge got a lot of those people together.
So Sylvia Rone and Leo Cohen deserve to be called.
No, all jokes aside, a lot of people made those beats. We know that. A lot of people made those beats.
I talked to Chris the Glove Taylor
I know.
on
I
a
was
3-part
there.
series. We've had this discussion.
We were there. I was
not
there.
Conversational after the Glove interviews.
I was there. Dari Star with the super chat says, the same you guys are saying about Nas applies to Kanye. He's right. I'm 22. Most people in my generation would say 808s and Yeezus are classic, but people who started with College Dropout don't feel the same way. He's right.
Well,
Kanye's another one of those generational guys.
Well, there's a difference.
Jay's like that too.
Well, there's a difference. The records that we're talking about, no. The Nas records we're talking about, Stillmatic, Godson, and Lost Tapes, those albums are actually good. Next.
I disagree with you.
Those albums are actually good.
I think that each generation connects with, a certain era of an artist.
You can connect with an artist, don't mean the album's good.
I think Graduation is in that plane too. Graduation's a game changer for a whole generation.
No, Graduation is like that. 808s and Yeezys ain't like that.
A$AP Rocky and Big Sean, that whole era of guys, they swear by Graduation.
It's cool to swear by Graduation. Swearing by 808s and Heartbreaks and Yeezus means you don't know your shit.
Graduation's $1 million in a week, man. On top of that.
We're not talking about Graduation. We're talking about this whack-ass 808s and Yeezus.
Stop
trying to throw Graduation in there with that.
But I'm just talking about the impact for different,
impact
eras.
for Graduation is there.
Esquire with the super chat says, how do y'all reconcile calling, FHD a classic, which it is, but rank it under a non-classic Godson, which is still a top 8 Nas album? Forest Hill Drive, listen, I will acknowledge how you guys feel about Forest Hill Drive. I'm just talking about me personally. I would say,
I think it's a great album.
In the grand scheme of things, if we're talking about the populace and we're talking about, the impact and the impact it made on the culture and everybody around it, yes, I'm going to put Forest Hill Drive over Godson. But if I'm going to listen to one of those albums first, it's going to be Godson. That's where I'm at with it.
Objectively speaking, Forest Hills Drive this is my problem with this era. It's a classic for this era. Compare it to another era, it's just a great album.
Again.
The fact that how about this? Even if you feel like Godson is, let's say, a top 5 Nas album, and I don't see at this point how you could even fucking fix your mouth to say some shit like that. But let's say that you felt that way. We shouldn't be comparing Cole's best album to Nas's 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th best album anyway. That's why he needs to drop this fucking album.
Well, see, that's the problem I have with Forest Hill Drive. I feel like we only talk about it because of who made it.
Sick of these punk ass kids.
I really do, man. I mean, I think the albums like To Pimp a Butterfly clearly stand on their own. Good Kid, Mad City stands on its own, regardless if Kendrick made it or not. We might do a little bit of that with Damn.
A lot of hype with To Pimp a Butterfly, Mike. There's a lot of hype.
I think To Pimp a Butterfly is brilliant, but yeah, it is a lot of hype. But you know, a lot of that hype actually came after the fact, and I will agree with you on that. But for us who fucked with it from day one, it's real.
The hype for To Pimp a Butterfly is centered around how great Good Kid, Mad City was more than anything else. The hype leading into it. It's like, what's he going to do after dropping arguably the best album of this era? Because, I mean, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Good Kid, Mad City are the 2 best albums between 2010 and 2015.
But what I will say about To Pimp a Butterfly, after coming off of an album, that was so highly regarded, no one said it was a drop-off. That conversation wasn't out there that there was a sophomore jinx or anything like that.
Not a sophomore jinx.
You know what I mean? Like, clearly some people like Good Kid, Mad City more.
Because it's better.
But it wasn't one of those things where people were like, oh, man, Kendrick fell off. It wasn't.
Oh, no.
It wasn't.
Oh, no. As a writer,
because that's a big album to have to follow up.
I'm cool. How about this? To Pimp a Butterfly has some It Was Written qualities in terms of how intensive the writing is. Is a follow-up to a classic. The writing is more intensive. Just how like the writing on It Was Written is more intensive on It Was Written than it is on Illmatic. Well, the writing on To Pimp a Butterfly is more intensive than it is on Good Kid, Mad City, but it doesn't provide that same fucking feeling because the themes aren't as timeless. But it's got its moments. Yeah. And you could say lyrically might still be his best project as far as
I'm a weirdo. I like the creativity of that album. I just felt like, you know, Good Kid, Mad City was more of his industry album. He executed on it perfectly. But, you know, some of them skits to me just seem so programmed. You know what I mean? Sounds very...
The skits, first of all, the skits on Good Kid, Mad City are fucking 20 times better than the skits on To Pimp a Butterfly. The program shit is on To Pimp a Butterfly. I was lost. Following the evils of Lucy. No, that was the problem with that album.
Everything he does is theatrical. Now, let's be honest. Everything Kendrick does is theatrical.
Mike, the To Pimp a Butterfly skits is part of what drug that album down.
The one moment I didn't like, there's 2 moments on To Pimp a Butterfly I didn't like. I didn't love the King Kunta moment, but I get it. He needed a single on an album like that.
Beat is terrible.
And I didn't love that Used song. I didn't love that shit. Big G with the super chat says, Michael and Quincy is a perfect song. No song on Nas's album Touch It.
Loving You is complicated.
Not Made You Look. I'm Illmatic to now Nas fan. Quote the record and still tell me I'm wrong. DJ Bruce Almighty with the super chat says, better discography, 50 or Ross. Esquire with the super chat says, so at best, Daytona is a classic by today's standards.
First of all, Daytona is better than Forest Hills Drive.
Yes.
Daytona is just a classic.
You know, I get offended if anybody says otherwise. What are we listening to?
But you won't fight for Hell Hath No Fury. This is wild.
I like Hell Hath No Fury, but it's not Daytona.
It is.
To me.
It's better than Daytona.
It's not Daytona.
It is.
LP with the super chat says,
Daytona's a top 5 album of this era. It would be objectively Alfredo, Pray for Paris, not in any particular, Pray for Paris, Alfredo, Daytona, Magic 3, KD 3, Magic, Astro World, Victory Lap.
Yeah, it's in that vein.
It's
a masterpiece.
Those are the albums that are comparable to Daytona for this era.
I have Daytona on vinyl. I think I'm going to go listen to it tonight. I literally have Daytona on vinyl. I don't think I have anything from this era like that on vinyl.
See, I'm at this point that it's like I mostly listen to rap that I need to listen to about this show. Outside of the records that I want to hear, Mike, I play What Would Meek Do every fucking week. There's not a week that goes by that I don't play What Would Meek Do.
Man, when you start off an album, man, the way he did, ran off the plug too like True Goy. Imagine me do, boy. You can never do what I do, boy. Still ducking shit that I did, boy. Niggas in Paris for hit, boy. These ain't the same type of hits, boy. Shit can get litter than lit, boy. The whole album's like this.
Actually,
like the whole album.
Bar-wise,
like
If You Know You Know is him toned down. Because the rest of the album lyrically is better than If You Know You Know. If You Know You Know is one of Kanye's best beats, Mike.
Hey, man, if you want to say that.
No, it is. It's one of his best beats.
LP with the super chat
What's
says.
What's Kanye's best beat, Mike?
That's hard, man. That's very difficult.
He doesn't really make beats.
You know what? Mike, our top 5 segment today could be Kanye's top 5 beats.
He don't have like no 10 Crack Commandments type of beat where you're like, whoa. He don't. Like,
you don't think Dreams is like that?
No.
In the game?
I never looked at Dreams beat-wise the way everybody else did.
I never really looked. I mean, I like 10 Crack Commandments. Don't get it twisted. But I don't hold it as high as you do. 1,000,001? Yes. But 10 Crack Commandments is a dope beat.
10 Crack Commandments is a better beat than 1,000,001, Mike.
No, it's not.
Put it in
we
the
got to
poll.
put that in the poll.
Put it in the chat, please.
No, 1,000,001's beat is better than 10 Crack Commandments.
No, it's not.
LP with the super chat says, people play instruments.
The Evils is better than 1,000,001 beat-wise, Mike.
Well, the Evils is better than 10 Crack Commandments, too.
Man.
LP with the super chat says, people play instruments and Dre made them beats. No different than sampling a core loop. Same stuff Dilla did, but with live instruments.
Thank you, LP.
Was it?
Mike out here throwing shade on the greatest producer of all time.
Yeah. Dory Star with the super chat.
It ain't fucking Kanye. If you say Kanye, I'm going to tear you apart with my Dr. Dre argument. You better get ready.
Yeah,
I'm going to tear you apart.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Dory Star with the super chat says, did you guys hear Busta say that if Kendrick was active the same time Cole is right now, people would not be saying Cole's the better MC right now? You know what? He got to stop that aftermath talk. If nigga get active. Don't tell me if this was happening, both of them niggas the same age. Why isn't Kendrick active? No, Cole is running circles around it right now. Kendrick's never been a strong featured act. He's never been a strong featured MC. Don't make excuses for the man that's not working versus the man that is working. I don't like that.
Last scene, active, dropping extremely whack shit. Next.
Black Wealth and Power with the super chat says, I'm a younger guy. I remember Jay's Blueprint 3 being a cultural movement. Is that just me, or do you guys remember that differently? I just remember the marketing was heavy on it.
That's what I mean about the grown man. The marketing was real, but I do feel some of what he's saying because that's what I mean. The Blueprint 3 and Life is Good are the transition into grown-up adult contemporary rap music.
What have I said about the Blueprint 3 on this show many, many times? It's the last Jay-Z album where Jay-Z was Jay-Z that we remember.
Correct.
So
I agree.
So yeah, there was fanfare around it for that. I remember he was doing the MTV Awards. You know, we were in New York. He pulled up in the motorcade. Did Empire State of Mind. Lil Mama came up with the pose. They did Lil Mama wrong. They should have embraced her in that situation. She was feeling it. That was the most memorable moment.